Hello, good evening. How are you, everyone? How is your Sunday going? I'm sure we're all having a nice time, and thank God summer is here, so it's a nice one. And how was your week? Mine was really good. It was pleasant. I thank God. It was full of great opportunities and wonderful things. And nice everyone, and I'm sure you're all having fun. I'm sure you're doing well. And this is a new month. I'm so excited about July. That's happy new month. This month of July is going to be a month of blessing to every one of us. So it's going to be a month that we'll all celebrate and we'll rejoice. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about raising up godly children. We're going to explain that. We're going to explain that like a little definition. What do we mean by raising up godly children? Raising up godly children means that we need to train our children the way that is actually acceptance to people around, the way that the Lord is train them. So raising up godly children is not just about where everyone is not just about they just say raising up godly children. I just want to raise up my children. Let me just do what I can do. What we actually saying is that we need to raise those children in the way that God has actually instructed us to do. I'm actually welcoming people in the house. Thank you very much for joining. Takemi, thank you. Antonia, thank you for joining. We're talking about raising up godly children today. And I'll just tell you, we'll use some Bible verses to back up the word. What I mean by godly children, when they are anywhere they are, they're actually different. They're distinct. They're different from people. It's not just children that when you see them, you will know that definitely these ones are God-fearing. You will know that these ones, they are really the kind of children that you pray to God to give you. So we're going to let's take from Psalm 127 verse 3 to 5 now. He said, "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb of a reward." So the children are actually blessing. Your children, they're actually blessing from God. So how are we training those children that God Almighty has given you? How are you training them? Because you know what, I just want us to actually understand one thing, that God himself created us. And why is it God created us? In order for us to have children in the way that he himself has ordained us to train them. And most of the parents, we actually get it wrong. We believe because they're my children, or maybe because I'm in Europe, or maybe because I'm in any part of the world, the way you're actually training those children, they are different for what God is telling you to do. And at the end of the day, the children are the one training you. I will explain that. For example, from a toddler, and all this thing actually happens from youth age. From a toddler, a boy or a girl is telling you that, "Mommy, I don't want to put on this dress." And you are smiling. You're saying, "Oh, that's all right. If you don't want to put it on, take something else." As little as that, we need to stand on we need to be firm with these children. There are times that we know when we joke, like with my children, I joke with them, I do everything with them. But when it's time to be firm, I am firm with them. So like those little things, as a 3-year-old boy or a 3-year-old girl telling you that I'm not putting this on, and there's nothing you can do, the child is not going to put on that particular clothes. I am telling you, you are beginning to miss it a bit there. Raising up godly children means that we need to be firm. Like even when we are asking something from God, it's not everything that God actually gives us at a particular stage. When God knows that it is not right, it is not yet time for you to have it, He's not going to give you, you won't have it. But when He realizes that it's actually time for you to do, He will give you that thing you've been praying for and you'll be believing God. So let's apply that principle to our children. We need to train up our children, and most things that women are actually doing, and also maybe men too. Let's say, for example, I'm talking about single parents now. We're like, after all, their mom is not here. The daughter is my wife, so let me just treat her anything she wants. I'm going to give it to her. Okay, fine. My husband is not here. The son is my husband. No. Your son is not your husband and your daughter is not your wife. We need to train them. We need to be friendly with them. Don't get me wrong. We need to be friendly with them. We need to talk to them. We need to get some understanding. Go to where they are coming from. You understand? That is why some of the things I keep encouraging parents. That even parents, some of us, we said, oh, we don't know how to use the Instagram, but that's exactly what the children are learning now. Why don't you find time? Let them teach you. Understand what they're doing. What is that thing that they're doing on the internet? How come your young child as little as 8 years old? Because you're very busy. When you come back from the office, you just that laptop, you give him the iPad to be watching, and you don't even know the program that he or she is actually watching. And you just like, oh, I don't want him to disturb me. That's why he's in his room. I've heard about some people, I've actually counseled some people, that the children, they don't even come out of their room. They have their Xbox there, they have their PlayStation 4, and they do everything in the room. You don't know the kind of game they are playing. You don't know the kind of thing they are watching on the internet. But what are we doing? Remember, even when we're actually growing up, there were some disciplines in the house. The mothers had the discipline, the father had the discipline. So how are we training those children now? What are we giving them now? What are the principles? What are the legacy you are leaving for those children? Remember, those children, they're actually going to grow old too, and they will have their own kids. What are you training them? How are they going to manage? Because for instance now, we're not training them the right way. Everything they want, you give it to them. I believe there is a stage for each children. There should be a way the children should be able to know that there's some time you should be able to say no. And there's some time they should be able to say, oh, this time around is yes. So don't ever say every time they want that thing, they want that particular thing from you, it's all going to be about yes, yes, yes. There should be a time that you should know, no, you're not having that now. And don't let those children control you. You are the one that you should be in charge. And if you don't take charge, as those children are growing up now, by the time they get to teenagers, they're going to be the ones to be controlling you. If you can't control your toddler now, if you can't tell that boy or that girl, sit down here and don't move, and you keep saying that, oh no, maybe the child doesn't listen to me, it doesn't do well, I have to just take the child like that, the child is very hyper. Yes, I know, it's hyper, but there's something we can do. We can actually make sure that what we say stands. So when you say no, your no is your no. And when you say yes, let your yes be your no. And there's something that some couples are doing. These children are very smart. Some of them will go to their dad. They will say, Daddy, I want to go for football now. And the daddy will say no. And the same child will come back to the mom. And the mom will say yes. That is actually ruling, is ruling that child. And that is not a good thing in the home. Because remember that we need to have one voice as a parent. We need to train them the same way. When the husband is saying yes, it should be the same yes with the wife. Even though you are not at home together, maybe you are in different places, and those children can be funny. They might just say, oh, they want to hear what is happening. Oh, they might just want to test you. That, okay, what's mommy going to say? Let me quickly ask mommy. And mommy is saying no. So why do you have to go back again and ask daddy? I think you should make it a point in your house. That, like in my house now, they know. Once the daddy say yes, it is yes. And once I say no, you don't go back again to ask daddy. Anybody you ask first, whatever that person says, it stands like that. So I think we should make it as a point in our home that our children should know that whatever the mom says, whatever daddy is going to say. Make sure we actually we treat those children in what God is telling us to do. Let's train them in the right way. Don't say because it's the only child and you need to spoil that child. Remember, you're still going to have more children. And what are you teaching him? And at the end of the day, when they're teenagers, they are giving problems. How come they're giving problems? What happened? How were you treating that child when that child was growing up? What were the things that you are putting on that child? Were you telling that child, oh, you are my little husband, don't worry, you can have it. Oh, don't worry, it's fine. Oh, you want that iPad now? Oh, don't worry, I'll give it to you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't buy things to your children. You buy things to them, but there are some things that sometimes you should say no. It is not every time they say you should say yes to them. And I just want to say that, okay, do we actually raise up godly children? Thank you for joining. Some people are just coming in now. We're talking about raising up godly children. How do we raise up godly children? We actually raise up godly children by advising them. Fine, especially when we're talking about teenagers now. We're going to talk about teenagers now. When you get to a particular age, you just don't instruct them. You advise them. And when you advise them, when you are giving them that instruction, you give them the reason why they shouldn't do it. Fine, your boy wants to have this particular haircut that his friends are having and he wants to look funny. You tell the boy, you can't have this haircut. But you need to give him an explanation so that he will be able to stay in his mind and his head that this is the reason why daddy is saying I can't have this haircut. Why is daddy saying I can't have this haircut? Why is mommy saying I can't have this haircut? Because with this kind of haircut, you don't look responsible. Because with this kind of haircut, you can't actually go for a job interview and talk, and people will look at you that you're responsible. Why can't you have this haircut? You let that child know the reason why he shouldn't have that particular haircut. And at the end of the day, even if you're not around, even if you travel, the child will not quickly have that funny haircut before you come back. Because you've actually told him the reason why he shouldn't do that. We need to advise them. We need to talk to them. They need to be our friends. I'm talking about the grown-up one from their young age. You need to make them our friends. Let them have that assurance in you. Let them have that belief in you. Don't let them start looking for somewhere else outside, or looking for another mom, or looking for looking for friends and telling their friends their problems. Let your children be able to trust you. Let them believe in you. Let them trust you that, okay, what I tell mommy is going to reason with me, is going to understand where I'm coming from. And so if I tell daddy that, oh, daddy will understand it, daddy will not say, oh, he wouldn't write me off. Don't write off your children. I'm sure most of us were worse than them when we were growing up. But you know what? Our parents didn't give up on us. If they've actually given up on us, we will not be where we are today. So if your child or your children, they are behaving funny, or they are in that teenage age that you need to pay more attention to them. You need to find more time to know the things they are reading. You need to find more time about their friends. You need to tell them to bring their friends home, especially the girls' type. Especially the girls. Don't just say, oh, no, you can't. Yes, they are 18. What do you expect? She's going to have some friends. Encourage her to bring those friends home, so that at the end of the day, you will know the kind of friends they're keeping. And by you knowing the kind of friends you're keeping, imagine your friend coming home and bringing a dog and bringing another friend that is partially half naked. Definitely, you remember this saying, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. So definitely what you're going to tell your friend, your dog, is that, oh fine, your friend is very nice, is this, but there's something. Did you notice the way she's dressing? You will just let her know that we don't dress like that in my house. You let her know that we don't take that. Or maybe a friend, and at the end of the day, you won't just don't give it out to her. Sit her down and reason with them, because it gets to a particular stage that those children, if you're not their friends, they'll just listen, and when they go outside, that's where they said they have to face. You don't know what they're doing outside, but you know why they have to face? Because you've not been their friends. And you know why that is happening? Because you just talk down on them. You don't even appreciate the little things they do. Why do we not appreciate our children? Let's appreciate them. Even the ones that, okay, fine, they've done this, they try to make some stew. Fine, it's not nice, it's not good. But you know what? Appreciate and just say, thank you, my darling. It's very nice. But you now correct. Let's correct in love. Mothers, especially, let us correct in love. Let us correct in love. Don't let us nag them. A nug of nagging. And remember that I keep saying this, that these children, they are good. They are inherited from God. God actually gave us to them that we can actually take care of them. God gave them to us that we can take care of them. So remember that we don't need to provoke them, but we need to stand our ground. They need to know that this is wrong and this is right. We just need to encourage them. I'm talking about to the teenagers now. Some of us that we have teenagers at home, we need them to be our friends, like I said. And they need to just know we're always there for them. And those little ones that are there, make sure at that age, they want to put on that clothes. And you are saying, no, don't put it on. Let them know a no is a no. You need to learn to go out with them. Don't just leave them at home. Look for a family holiday together. Look, know what interests children. I know our spouses are very important. Like I said, fine, our husbands, our wives, we are very important. We shouldn't neglect ourselves. But same as we should not neglect those children. We should be able to know what kind of friends, like I said, that are keeping. What kind of games that is interesting them. That phone, because this one now everybody has a phone. The home page, what are the kind of things your 9 years watches on his phone? What are the kind of things your 12 years watches on the phone? And what are the kind of things that they say even on their text messages? Your teenagers, do they use those funny languages that they don't use at home? And when they get to school, they use it because you are not there. Are you teaching them what the Bible is said to do? Or are you raising godly children? Remember how you were raised. Remember how you were raised, that even then, back those days, you serve punishment and you will still be crying and you still be serving the punishment. What are the kind of legacy you're giving those children? It's not about anything now. It's about us now, parents. It's about us. How are we raising those wonderful children that the Almighty has given to us? Is it just because that child is the only boy in the house? Is that the reason why you don't want him to learn how to cook? And remember, the child a boy that doesn't know how to cook as he's growing up, when he gets married, it will be a problem to his wife. And at the end of the day, he cannot help the woman in the kitchen. So it all belongs to the back of the foundation that we mentioned last week. That a child is there because it's the only child, it's the only boy, and it's the only child. You just believe that, oh, kitchen is not for men. Well, don't let us get it wrong. Kitchen is for everybody. Anybody that knows how to eat, kitchen belongs to them. A man should know how to cook. A woman should know how to cook. So women, men, please train up your children in the right way. Just because you as a father, you don't know how to cook, that is a mistake that your mother has made. And that is the foundation we're talking about last week. You can correct it with your children. With your male children, you can correct it. You can teach him how to cook, so that at the end of the day, his wife will be thanking you. That's what I keep saying now. For example, I've got all boys, I've got 4 boys, and to God be the glory, they know how to cook. I encourage them to cook. We all go to the kitchen together to learn one thing or the other. So imagine a boy that doesn't know how to cook, and when his wife is married, at the end of the day, the wife is the kind of person that doesn't go to the kitchen, because there are some women. Let me use myself for example. When I'm pregnant, I just get very irritated with the smell of cooking and everything. So imagine that the man does not even know how to cook. So what are we going to be eating in the house? Are we going to be going to restaurants all the days of our life, or until when I deliver the 9 months, until 9 months when the baby is delivered? So we need to train our children regardless of their sex. What are we training them? How are we training them? Fine, they are going to school. They will go to university. Before they go to university, what are you imbibing? What are you imbibing in their lives? What are the kind of thing that you're teaching them? And remember that a daughter that is not well trained. I even know there are some ladies, they don't even know how to cook. And you can't blame those children. They don't know how to cook. But who caused it? It's their mom and their dad. The mom will be in the kitchen, you'll be cooking alone, and you say, oh, let her go and read. Yes, they need to read. There is reading time and there's cooking time. And there's also chores time, laundry. They need to do the laundry. They need to know how to vacuum. They need to know everything. You understand? They need to know everything and that is happening. So it's not just about, oh, that because he's a child, he's a boy, he needs to wash the car. The girls cannot wash the car. Don't have a particular job, a particular chore for a boy and a particular one for a girl. Mix it together, because you don't know where those children will be. You don't know where they will be in future. So let's train them today like there's no tomorrow, because you don't even know what's going to happen to you. We all pray for good life. We all pray for long life. But let's train. Something might happen now. They might have to take your children away, far from where you are. Maybe he needs to go and study, and at the end of the day, because the child has not been used to doing anything at home. Some children, they don't even do their laundry. They just put everything down there. And they're waiting for who? They're waiting for the mom to do the laundry. Is that how to train the children? Is that how to train a child? So what I'm saying this evening is that let's train them. Let's train them in the way that at the end of the day, when we get old, we look at them and we say, thank you, Lord. And that is when you will know your tomorrow is secured. And that is when you'll be able to say, Father, I thank you for giving me this. You just see some children that are very unruly. Why are they unruly? It's not because of anything. It's because of what the mothers and the fathers have actually taught them. Because initially, you don't even teach your children to greet. There are some children like that. They don't greet an adult. They don't greet. They just pass you by. They just stay because we're in Europe. They just said, oh, hi. You're fine. There's nothing saying hi. But the way you say hi, you say with respect. You just don't look at somebody. You don't even look at their eye. You're going and just saying hi. There are even some children. They don't even say that hi. They just walk past you as if you're not existing. How are we training those children? What are we doing that is wrong? Remember the way you actually brought up. Remember that we need to train them in the godly way, so that at the end of the day, we will have rest. And at the end of the day, we will know that our future is secured. So like what I said earlier on, I shared in the one that that's Psalm 27, 3-5, that children are actually that is why those children are getting to 15, they're getting to 16, they're getting to their late teenage, and they're becoming to be an issue. So we pray that our children will not be an issue. In Jesus' name, they will give us peace in our days in our later days in Jesus. And I want to also say in Proverbs 22:6, he said, train up a child in the way to go. He said, when he's old, he will not depart from it. So I'm not the one I'm even saying this now. It's in the Bible that we should train them in the way they should go. So it's not that we should just say, okay, fine, you've given birth. Anybody can give birth. But how are you training them? What is the next generation? How do you want your daughter to be in her house when she gets married? How do you want your daughter to treat her husband? How do you want your son to treat his wife? How do you want, is it that because your son, the only thing your son is seeing at home is that you are always beating your wife, and the son will think that there is nothing bad in you beating up his mother. So at the end of the day, when the son gets married, he's going to think that it's normal to be beaten. So at the end of what is your daughter saying in the house? Your daughter is saying that every day there is argument. Every day you're always right. You don't know how to say you're sorry, and every day you don't even make food for your husband. So there is no food. And what do you want that daughter to be? What are you training that daughter to be? How are you training that daughter? How are you training the daughter to manage her home when she gets married? What are the kind of things that we're treating those children? Remember those children, like I said, and I keep saying it, that they are watching us. And they don't know anything. But it's actually what we teach them, and it's what we're teaching them. So what I'm saying tonight is that we should raise our children up in a godly way, so that at the end of the day, when they go old, they will not depart from that way. They will remember. Do you come together as a family to pray in the morning? Do you come together to read the word of God? Do you come together to pray before you go to bed? What are the things that you are teaching those children? What are the kind of languages? Are you the kind of person when you are in church, you kneel down, you greet the pastor? And when you get home, you kneel down. When you are in the mosque, you kneel down and you greet the imam. And when you get home and you start cursing your husband. Is that the kind of mother you are? And also, so is the men too. What kind of man are you? Are you the kind of one that when you are in church, oh, you can pray very well, you can move the mountain, but when you get home, you start slapping her. When you get home, you don't appreciate anything she does. And you are not just alone. You've given birth to children, and those children they are watching. And I know that those children, they learn better from what they see. There was one particular time I never noticed that my son was even noticing me. He just said something. He said, Mommy, all the seats in the house, I noticed something about you. You don't sit in the single one. You only go to the three-seater one where daddy is sitting. That's where you go and sit beside him. I've never noticed. Those are the kind of things. The children, it's not what we say in our mouth. Fine, we need to say it and we need to do it. So we just don't need to say it alone. The children want to see us to take the action to do it. So we need to say, do this, and you are acting it. So you don't tell them to do something and you are doing the opposite. At the end of the day, they won't listen to you. At the end of the day, you just realize that they are growing, and they are growing to a young adult, that's not what you prayed for. But who caused it? You did. Because at the tender age, you were neglecting some things that you are like, oh, I can't be bothered. Oh, she's very hyper. Oh, he's very hyper. I know that child is hyper. But why don't you calm that child down and say, you know what? You are not having that Coke, that bottle of Coke, and you are not. If the child cries, nothing happens. He's not going to cry, and at the end of the day, we'll go to bed. But let your no be your no when you are correcting a child. Don't say no now. And when the child goes to the mom, and when the child goes to the mom will say yes. You don't bring up your children like that. Have one voice in the house. Have one voice. When the dad, like I said earlier on, let the dad's yes be the mom's yes. And same as let the mom's no be the dad's no. Those children are very wise and they know what they are doing. And there's something I want to say, that parents, please don't provoke your children. It's even there in the Bible, in Ephesians 6:4. He said, parents, do not treat your children in such a way as to make them angry. Instead, bring them up with Christian discipline and instruction. Don't get them angry. Don't frustrate them. You know, especially when they're trying to discover themselves. I'm talking about the young adults now. Try to listen to them. This is when they need you more. This is when they want to hear you more. This is the crucial stage in their life. It's not about you, the father traveling all over the world, saying you are making money and you've neglected your family. Those children want you around. They need you around. They want to talk to you at that age. At that 18 years, they want to know you. They want to know. They're beginning to see some changes in their body. They're beginning to feel somehow. They're beginning to have that kind of feeling towards opposite sex. They want to know. They want to know what to do. Talk to them. Be their friend. Just laugh at things together. Don't shut them up. I know it can be very annoying sometimes. Maybe they keep repeating themselves and everything. Yes, especially those little ones. They want to know. That's the age. Let them ask. Why? Even when you tell a child, don't go to that place, the child will say, but mommy, why should I go there? Why? Just say, shut up. Just don't go. I don't know. No. That was the mistake. When we were growing up, that was the mistake. They don't tell us the reason. And that is why most people will still go there. And at the end of the day, we will realize very late before we came back to be learning the right thing. But the age is different now. Don't say in my time, my parents will never. I never asked my parents why. I know, but because they want to know now. And mommy, why shouldn't I put on that hoodie? Why? Just explain. You don't put it on because it's not nice. Don't put it on because you don't look like a prince. Don't put it on because you don't like a princess. That princess don't dress like that. They just want to know the reason why they shouldn't dress that way. You don't shut them up. Don't provoke them. Because when you provoke them, it pushes them outside. And at the end of the day, they go to a wrong hand. And we don't want that for them. We want to know, we want to be able to talk to them. We want to be able to encourage them. We want to be able to be their friends. We want to be able to know that the challenges they're having in life. We want to be able to understand where they're coming from. Because I remember one day somebody was actually just saying, a 14-year-old guy saying, Auntie, you don't know. We're going through a lot. You know, they were laughing, we're just laughing about it. And at the end of the day, I just thought of it, that coming to think of it, she might be going through a lot. Fine, she's 14. But you don't know what she's going through in school. Maybe the mom is not there to talk to. Those are the kind of things you should watch out from those children. You need to call them. Fine, darling, you say you're going through a lot. What do you mean? Is anything happening that I need to know? What is that thing that you're going through that you need to tell me? So when they say you're going through a lot, don't just ignore that statement. Call them and say, what are the things, what are the challenges that you're having now? Maybe there are some particular subject that they want to discuss. Or you want them to become a medical doctor and they want to become something else. Why don't you come together and realize and reason with them? Don't let's frustrate them. Let's be their friend, like I said. So what I've been actually saying today, because I want to keep it really short so that most of us can actually go back and listen to it. What I'm actually saying today, that we're talking about raising up godly children. And like I said those children are given to us by God. And I said, parents, don't frustrate your children. And as we're raising them up too, those little ones, don't say a 2-year-old does not know anything, or a 2-year-old doesn't know what he's doing. For a child to know how to put, if you started training that child, you need to know the child as young as a 2-year-old. It should be, when he starts saying no and yes, you should be able to tell the child, you are not having this now, you have it later. Don't say because he's the only child, like I said earlier on. Don't say because he's the only daughter you have. Don't say because he's the only son you have. Treat all your children equally. And there's one more point I remember now before I round up. Let's treat them equally. If we have 2 children, if they are boys, if they are girls, if they are the same sex, if they are different sex, make sure we treat them equally. Don't like another child more than the other. It's a very sensitive issue, parents. Learn to treat them equally. Don't say, oh, you go. I know when A goes, he's going to get a yes. No. Because that will be a problem when they get old. You just realize some siblings are old and they don't talk to one another. What do you think is the cause of it? It's from the childhood, when they were growing up. Maybe the mom was actually showing favoritism to one of the child. And at the end of the day, they grow up with bitterness. Because it's only when A goes, only when Tom goes to mommy, he's going to get a yes. When Jerry goes, Jerry is going to be a no. Don't train up your children like that. Train them up in a godly way. Train them up equally. Bring them up in love. Don't like one more than the other. You actually gave that to them the same way anyway. Even if one was a CS and the other was a normal bat, it does not matter. Even one is a girl, one is it does not matter. They're all your children. You love them equally and you train them equally. So I will just tell you that. Train up your children in the way to go. And at the end of the day, when they are old, they will not depart from it. If you're not taking anything home today, you take it home today with, let's train up our children the right way. Don't say because their friends are starting making up, she won't make up. If your no is your no, let her know the reason why you don't want her to start making up at age 14. She's too young. Oh yes, she's too young. If you don't want them to go to any party at age 16, you want to wait to age 18, yes, you can wait. That is the way we do it in our house. It should be. Don't let them intimidate you. Don't let them push you that this is how my friends are doing it. Remember, tell them that your friends are doing it this way. Remember, your friends are not Rotimi Ogundeles. Your friends, they are different. We are this Sunday, and that is what we stand for. Make sure you always have your stand. But remember, don't provoke them. Let them be your friends. Always talk to them. Don't abandon them. Don't abandon them. Let them be part of the family. Go on family holiday together. As you are taking those children around, you are also taking your spouse too. So you are not neglecting your spouse. So today we're talking about bringing those children up even better than the way we were brought up. That's our prayer point, because we pray and we believe that our children will be for signs and wonders, and our children will be better than us in Jesus' name. So I just want to encourage us. Thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Because of our time, I want to really keep it short. I'm sure it's about 33 minutes now. So I just want to say thank you. And remember, the children, they are now on holiday now. Holiday. Some people have started. Some people are just going there. Treat them nicely. But remember, don't let them put you to what you don't want to say yes for. Have your standard. Have your standard. What you say no, you should no. And what again, when mommy is saying yes, it should be yes. When daddy is saying no, it should be no with daddy. So one voice. Don't treat them in different ways. Thank you so much for joining. The Lord bless our children. The Lord keep us. And we're believing God, and we're praying for the people that are watching, that are believing God for the fruit of the womb, that the Lord will bless their womb, that this season they will have their Samuel in Jesus' name. The Lord will bless us all and increase us. Go out there this week. Have a wonderful week. Have a romantic week. A week full of divine anointing, and train those children in the right way to go. And at the end of the day, when they're old, they will not depart from it. Thank you so much for joining. I can't do it without you. Celebrate my husband, Olurotimi Oluseun Rotimi Ogundele. You are the best. Thank you. And all my boys, you are the best. Thank you for all the setting. I just appreciate everybody. God bless us. I'll see you next week, Sunday, the same time. God bless us and have a wonderful week and stay blessed. Bye.